Freedom Publishing House, the leading publisher in academic materials across the globe.
IELTS Target 9. Published by Freedom Publishing House and Freedom Academy Press, 2026. This recording is a copyright. Test 13. This is the IELTS listening test by Target 9. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings would be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to part 1. You will hear a recording about a man calling to book a party hall. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 10.
Hello. Is it City Hall?
Yes, speaking. What can I do for you, sir?
Actually, I want to book a party hall for the evening of the 26th of September. We attended a wedding party at this venue last month and we liked it pretty much. But this time I'm calling to book this place for a birthday party.
Okay. My name is Mary, and I will be happy to help you out with this. Let me check the dates first.
Sure.
Fortunately, the date is available. The halls are quite busy these days. Anyways, what kind of a hall you are looking for?
We will be receiving about 80 to 90 guests for the occasion. But I want to book a party hall that could comfortably fit 100 people.
What sort of a party is it? And how do you want it to be?
We are going to celebrate our daughter's 10th birthday, and I want the party to be in the kids' theme. Her favorite color is pink, so I would like you to use that color in the decoration.
Okay. That's not an issue as we often organize such parties.
Wonderful. There will be around 100 guests, out of which there will easily be 30 children. I want it to look like a kid's birthday. So kindly tell me about some information on the theme and food.
Okay. So, I would like to tell you that we specialize in arranging kids' birthdays. Most kids like blue and pink colors. Since you are celebrating for your daughter, for this party, we will decorate the hall in a kids' theme by using pink and red color. Girls like pink color very much. Your daughter will love it.
That's great. Is there any other event or extras that you will provide?
Yes. We will arrange a couple of kids' games hosted by us. Additionally, there will also be a magician who will show some magic tricks for 30 minutes.
I'm curious to know about the charges for food and decoration.
We will charge $20 per person for the food. It will be a buffet kind of setup, in which there will be 1 welcome drink, 2 snacks, main course, and a dessert. The cost for theme and decoration would be $300. The decoration can be customized by you, and our experts will also assist you in that. There will be no charges for the hall if there are 80 people or more. If your gathering is less than 80, then we will charge $5 extra per person. That means it would be $25 per person for food, if the total number is less than 80 persons.
Well, what about the games and magic show? Do I need to pay extra for that?
Yes. You need to pay extra for that. If you want only one event, then the cost is $120. The magic show and games combined will cost you $200 only. We will also give return gifts from our side to the visiting kids. I also want to tell you that we will gift you a customized cake if you book the hall this week. This offer is valid only for this week.
That's great. So, how much do I need to pay in advance? Or do I need to make the full payment upfront?
Sir, You can pay as little as $100 for the advance booking. This amount is non-refundable in case you change your mind. But you need to pay the full amount 4 days prior to the party.
So what would be the total for 100 people, including decoration, magic show, and games?
For food, it would be $2,000, plus $300 for decoration, and $200 for the magic show and games. So, your total amount for the party will be $2,500.
Thank you for the information. I will make the payment by tomorrow.
That is the end of part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 1. Part 2. You will hear a talk regarding one of the famous places in the city. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Welcome to this episode of our City Podcast, where today we're exploring the Glass Arcade, one of the oldest and most distinctive districts in the city. As you might guess from its name, it was once home to a large glassworks and industrial marketplace, but today it's been transformed into a vibrant urban hub, especially attractive to one of the city's most rapidly growing communities. The presence of a renowned design institute in the vicinity has long made the area a hotspot for students, but more recently, it's attracting young professionals in creative fields like architecture and digital media, who are moving into the stylish loft apartments that have replaced the old warehouse buildings. The district's narrow passageways are a treasure trove for visitors, not so much for historic monuments, but for quirky, handcrafted items like paintings, pottery, accessories, and home decor that are both original and affordable. You can also browse through stalls selling organic groceries and fresh flowers. And when you need a break, there are plenty of open-air cafes where you can sip a drink and watch street performers or fellow tourists pass by. Many of the older structures are still intact on the main avenue, including the city's very first cinema, which dates back to the early 1900s and is still showing independent films today. The Glass Arcade has also built a name for itself in the fashion scene. Each year, the Urban Threads competition invites aspiring designers from the region to submit outfit ideas. This year's challenge is to create garments that reflect the influence of digital life and environmental awareness, using a mix of recycled and synthetic materials. A panel of fashion industry leaders will choose the winners, and the selected designs will feature in an evening runway show. Now, about parking. Visiting the Glass Arcade is fairly hassle-free when it comes to your car. There are a number of on-street ticketed parking spots suitable for quick visits. But if you're staying longer, you'll want to use one of the 4 multi-story parking complexes nearby. The rates are modest, and here's a bonus. If you show a receipt from any participating store, your parking fee is waived entirely. Also, after 7 p.m., most garages charge a flat rate, which is generally quite affordable.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 15 to 20.
The Glass Arcade is one of the main centers for art and history in the whole of the country. If you look at our map, You'll see some of the main attractions there. Most visitors start from South Road, at the bottom of the map. Antique Hotel is one of the oldest hotels in the city, and is open to the public. It's on the north side of South Road, next to the footpath that leads to the sports club. The area's particularly interesting for its unusual sculptures. Statue is just what its name suggests, but it's about 12 meters high. You'll see it on West Road, across the road from the post office. The exhibition centre's got a particularly fine collection of country's landscapes. It's on the east side of the Glass Arcade, on Outer Road. It's on the other side of the road from the sports club, immediately facing the junction with West Road. The art gallery is on a little road that leads off parking, not far from the sports club. The road ends at the gallery. It doesn't go anywhere else. That's open every day except Sundays. The Cinema Museum specializes in 19th century cinema. It's on Outer Road, near the junction with South Road, on the same side of the road as the sports club. It's open on weekdays from 9 to 5, and entry is free. Finally, if you're interested in purchasing high-quality artwork, the place to go is Atmos. You need to go from South Road up through parking and east along West Road until you get to a small winding road turning off. Go up there and it's on your right. If you get to Outer Road, you've gone too far.
That is the end of part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 2. Part 3. You will hear a conversation between Gordon and Charles discussing their assignment on winemaking. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 30.
Hi Charles. I was waiting for you to arrive early to discuss the assignment that I have made this week.
I am really sorry, Gordon. I was caught up in some urgent work. Anyways, I am free now and you can share your work with me.
That's great. So, we embark on a fascinating journey through the art and science of winemaking tradition, rooted in ancient history, yet thriving with modern innovation. From vineyard to bottle, let's uncover how nature, patience, and craftsmanship come together to create every glass of wine. The earliest evidence of wine production dates from between 6000 and 5000 BC. Winemaking technology improved considerably with the ancient Greeks, but it wasn't until the end of the Roman Empire that cultivation techniques as we know were common throughout Europe. In medieval Europe, the church was a staunch supporter of wine, which was necessary for the celebration of the Mass. During the lengthy instability of the Middle Ages, the monasteries maintained and developed viticulture practices, having the resources, security, stability, and interest in improving the quality of their vines. They owned and tended the best vineyards in Europe, even better than wine traders and royal families. As a result, the monasteries were pivotal in keeping and passing down viticulture knowledge to future generations. Their vineyards were often located in regions with ideal growing conditions, which helped ensure high-quality wine production. Monastic influence in wine cultivation contributed to the spread of European wine culture, which would later become an essential part of European heritage.
Oh, the history of wine looks quite interesting. I like your research. Please continue.
Thank you so much for your compliment. So, moving ahead, European vineyards were planted with a wide variety of the Vitis vinifera grape. However, in the late 19th century, the entire species was nearly ruined by the plant, Laus phylloxera, accidentally introduced to Europe from North America. Native American grapevines include varieties, such as Vitis labrusca, which is resistant to the bug. Vitis vinifera varieties were protected by being grafted onto the rootstock of Native American varieties, although there is still no remedy for phylloxera, which remains a danger to any vineyard not planted with grafted rootstock. The quest for vineyard efficiency has produced a bewildering range of systems and techniques in recent years. Due to the often much more fertile New World growing conditions, attention has been on saving the harvest from the bugs and increasing the yield, but the most amount of focus is heavily on managing the vine's quality. Innovation in palissage, training of the vine, usually along a trellis, and often referred to as canopy management. Pruning and thinning methods, which aim to optimize the leaf area, have largely replaced more general, traditional concepts like yield per unit area in favor of maximizing yield of desired quality. Many of these new techniques have since been adopted in place of traditional practice in the more progressive of the so-called Old World vineyards.
Sorry to interrupt, but I was keen to know whether same traditional practices are applied these days as well.
Of course. Other recent practices include spraying water on vines to protect them from sub-zero temperatures, new grafting techniques, soil slotting, and mechanical harvesting. Such techniques have made possible the development of wine industries in New World countries such as Canada. Today, there is increasing interest in developing organic, ecologically sensitive and sustainable vineyards. Biodynamics has become increasingly popular in viticulture. The use of drip irrigation, in recent years, has increased vineyards into areas which were previously unplantable. For well over half a century, Cornell University, the University of California, Davis, and California State University, Fresno, among others, have been conducting scientific experiments to improve viticulture and educate practitioners. The research includes developing enhanced grape diversities and investigating pest control. The International Grape Genome Program is a multinational effort to discover a genetic means to improving quality, increasing yield, and providing a natural resistance to pests.
Interesting. This information is new to me. Is there anything else you need to share?
Oh yes. Now, I will move to the last part of the assignment. This is related to the harvest. The implementation of mechanical harvesting is often stimulated by changes in labor laws, labor shortages, and bureaucratic complications. It can be expensive to hire labor for short periods of time, which does not square well with the need to reduce production costs and harvest quickly, often at night. However, very small vineyards, incompatible widths between rows of grapevines, and steep land hinder the employment of machine harvesting, even more than the resistance of traditional views, which reject such harvesting. Although machine harvesting is not limited by weather, country, or time of the day.
That is the end of part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 3. Part 4. You will hear a production head at a chocolate factory talking about the history and production of chocolates. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
All right, everyone. Today we're going to talk about chocolate, something most of us enjoy, but don't often think about in detail. So, what exactly is chocolate? It's a preparation made from roasted and ground cacao seeds, and you'll often find it in various forms, as a liquid, a paste, or a solid block. Beyond just eating it on its own, chocolate is also widely used as flavoring ingredient in a wide range of foods. Historically, the earliest known evidence of chocolate consumption comes from the Olmec civilization in what is now Mexico, dating back to around 1900 BCE. These early uses were mainly in the form of chocolate beverages, and this tradition was continued by other Mesoamerican peoples, such as the Maya and the Aztecs. Interestingly, the word chocolate itself comes from Spanish, and before that, from the classical Nahuatl word. Now, cacao seeds on their own are very bitter, so they must be fermented first to develop the flavor. After that, the beans go through several stages. They're dried, cleaned, roasted, and then the shells are removed, leaving what we call cacao nibs. These nibs are ground to produce cocoa mass, which is basically pure chocolate in its rough form. When you heat this cocoa mass, it melts into what's called chocolate liquor, and despite the name, it doesn't contain alcohol. This liquor can either be used as is or separated into cocoa solids and cocoa butter. You've probably seen terms like baking chocolate or Dutch cocoa. Baking chocolate is simply a mixture of cocoa solids and butter without any added sugar. Dutch cocoa is made by treating the cocoa powder with alkali, which makes it smoother and less acidic. Now, the chocolate we usually eat is known as sweet chocolate. It contains cocoa solids, cocoa butter or vegetable oils, and sugar. If it also includes milk powder or condensed milk, it's classified as milk chocolate. And there's white chocolate too. It only contains cocoa butter, sugar, and milk, but no cocoa solids, which is why it looks and tastes so different. In terms of popularity, chocolate is one of the most loved foods globally. It's found in all sorts of desserts, like cakes, puddings, mousse, brownies, and of course, chocolate chip cookies. It's also used in candies, snack bars, and given as gifts, often shaped into coins, during holidays like Christmas and even Hanukkah. We drink it too, hot chocolate, chocolate milk, and it even features in alcoholic drinks like crème de cacao. Now, although cocoa trees originally grew in the Americas, the main producers of cocoa today are in West Africa, especially Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana, which together supply around 60% of the world's cocoa. However, there's a serious issue linked to cocoa farming, and that's the involvement of child labor. As of 2018, roughly 2 million children were working in cocoa farming in West Africa. Despite international efforts, child slavery and trafficking remained widespread, largely due to poverty, lack of schools, and rising global cocoa demand. This leads to more intensive farming practices, which unfortunately continue to exploit vulnerable children. So, while chocolate might be sweet for us, it's important to remember the bitter truth behind how it's made.
That is the end of part 4 and the listening test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet.